Jay Leno is 75 years old, a world-famous comedian, and one of the most unusual collectors alive, not because of what he owns but because of how he treats it. While most celebrities diversify their wealth into real estate portfolios, yachts, or private jets, Leno quietly poured nearly every dollar he earned from decades of late-night television into one obsession: cars. Not stocks, not art, cars. Today, his private collection is widely believed to be worth well over $100 million, though even Jay himself admits he doesn't actually know the true value. He also isn't entirely sure how many vehicles he owns. Inside his massive 140,000 square foot garage, tucked away like a secret industrial museum, sit more than 180 cars and motorcycles, representing over a century of mechanical evolution. From brass-era racers to million-dollar hypercars, the collection isn't curated for status, it's curated for love. What truly separates Jay Leno from every other high-end collector is this: he drives everything. These are not climate-controlled investments sealed behind velvet ropes. Jay drives a $20 million McLaren F1 to casual outings. He takes a 70-year-old Mercedes Gullwing to neighborhood car meets. He starts engines that most museums would be terrified to touch. For Leno, a car that doesn't run, or worse, doesn't get driven, is a failure of purpose. He believes machines should live, breathe, and move, not sit frozen in time. And that philosophy defines every corner of his garage. One of the most modern icons in Jay's collection is the 2017 Ford GT, a car so exclusive that even billionaires couldn't simply walk into a dealership and buy one. Ford personally selected owners, and Jay was hand-picked not only because of his public passion for automobiles, but because he already owned a 2005 Ford GT with the same serial number. His 2017 model is number 12 off the production line, one of only 250 built during the first year. The base price alone was a staggering $450,750, but Jay added more than $55,000 in custom options, making it technically the least expensive car on this list, an absurd statement by any normal standard. The optional 400A package added $25,000. Exposed carbon fiber wheels cost another $15,000. The black paint with orange racing stripes came in at $10,000, while titanium lug nuts and orange brake calipers added $2,000 more. Even the interior received matching orange accents to complete the look. To protect the car, Jay wrapped it entirely in XPEL paint protection film, ensuring it could be driven without fear. In one episode of Jay Leno's Garage, he famously compared the Ford GT to his McLaren F1, saying it reminded him of a road car capable of racing at Le Mans and driving home afterward. The exact price of Jay's GT was uncovered not by Ford, but by a Reddit user who zoomed in on the VIN visible in one of Jay's videos. That's how closely people follow his collection. Long before hypercars entered the picture, Jay's automotive journey began with classics. The 1932 Packard Twin Six holds a special place in his heart because it was the very first collector car he ever bought. He purchased it in the mid-1980s from Phil Hill, the first American to ever win a Formula One World Championship. What makes this Packard even more special is that Hill personally restored it at his own facility. Jay has often said this was his first real classic car, and for a time he drove it almost daily. Despite being nearly a century old, the Packard is shockingly smooth. Its V12 engine runs so quietly that you barely hear it, and features like a vacuum-operated clutch mounted on the steering wheel, a rumble seat, and adjustable suspension made it feel decades ahead of its time. Even today, Jay calls it one of the most reliable classics in his garage. Hidden among the supercars is a vehicle few people even recognize: the 1953 Cunningham C3. Built by Briggs Cunningham, a wealthy yachtsman who won the America's Cup before turning his attention to motorsports, the C3 represents a rare fusion of American power and Italian design. Powered by Chrysler Firepower Hemi V8 fed by 4 Zenith carburetors, the body was crafted by Vignale in Italy before being shipped to Florida for final assembly. Only 25 Cunningham C3s were ever produced, and remarkably, all are believed to still exist today. Jay's example has undergone a full restoration and is valued at over $1 million. $1 fan described driving it as controlling a sculpture with a missile strapped underneath. Not every car in Jay's garage is comfortable or forgiving. The Porsche Carrera GT is one of the most dangerous road cars ever sold to the public, and Jay knows that firsthand. While attempting a high-speed run at Talladega, Jay was traveling at 191 miles per hour when he lifted off the throttle too abruptly. The car snapped sideways, flat-spotted the tires, and narrowly avoided disaster. Jay walked away unharmed, but the experience cemented the Carrera GT's reputation. He calls it the last truly analog Porsche. With a 5.7-liter V10 derived from Le Mans racing, a 6-speed manual transmission, no traction control, and no electronic safety net, the Carrera GT demands respect. Once priced around $440,000, values dropped before skyrocketing again. Today, clean examples sell for over $1 million. Only 1,290 were ever built, and Jay's remains entirely original, right down to its terracotta interior and balsa wood shift knob. "It's scary," Jay says, "and that's why it's fun." Jay was also the first person in America to take delivery of a McLaren P1. Finished in volcanic yellow, it was the first privately owned P1 to reach U.S. soil. While most collectors parked theirs immediately, Jay drove his straight home and began putting miles on it within days. He logged hundreds of miles almost immediately, even meeting McLaren's CEO to discuss racing history and engineering philosophy. Powered by a twin-turbo V8 paired with an electric motor producing 903 horsepower, the P1 can reach 60 mph in under 3 seconds and top out at 217 mph. Jay features it regularly on his show, proving yet again that his cars are meant to be used. Some of the most valuable vehicles in Jay's garage were built before highways even existed. The 1932 Duesenberg S.J. Murphy convertible coupe is one of just 38 supercharged SJs ever made. At a time when most cars struggled to reach 60 mph, this machine produced 320 horsepower and could exceed 100 mph with ease. The chassis alone cost $10,000 when new, more than 20 times the price of an average car during the Great Depression. Experts estimate Jay's example is worth well over $2 million, though no one truly knows what it would fetch at auction. Equally fascinating is Jay's 1940 Lagunda V12, a car designed by W.O. Bentley himself after he lost control of Bentley Motors. The engine was developed in just 5 months and proved so advanced that it placed 3rd and 4th at Le Mans in 1939. Jay's car is a factory-correct replica producing 220 horsepower from a 4.5-liter V12. "All I do is change the oil," Jay jokes. "If it had a Ferrari badge, it'd be worth 10 times more." Then there's the 1913 Mercer Type 35J Raceabout, one of the most important American performance cars ever built. Capable of nearly 100 mph over a century ago, Jay calls it the Ferrari Enzo of its era. Few survive today and even fewer are driven. Jay drives his. European legends fill the rest of the garage. A 1931 Bugatti Type 51 once driven by Louis Chiron, later rebodied into a rolling Art Deco masterpiece. A 1967 Lamborghini Miura P400, widely considered the world's first supercar. A modified 1928 Bentley Speed 6 that Jay regularly takes on the road. And a Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, one of only 3 ever made, featuring diamond-coated carbon fiber worth millions. Jay also owns multiple Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwings, including aluminum and magnesium-bodied race versions from the early 1950s. His road-going Gullwing alone is valued at around $8 million, restored after being discovered abandoned in a desert container. At the heart of the collection sits the legend, the McLaren F1. Jay has owned his for over 26 years and has turned down offers exceeding $20 million. He still drives it monthly. Original paint, original BMW-built V12, original soul. But the crown jewel is undoubtedly the 1934 Duesenberg Walker Coupe, a one-of-one aerodynamic masterpiece worth an estimated $20 to $30 million today. Jay restored it himself and drives it through Los Angeles like it's just another car. And somehow, he's still not finished. Jay has already placed a deposit on the upcoming 2026 McLaren W1, a $2.1 million hybrid hypercar producing over 1,250 horsepower. Because for Jay Leno, cars aren't about status, they're about passion, engineering, and history. Ironically, the one brand missing from his garage is Ferrari, not because of the cars, but because of how the company treats its customers. As Jay once said, "If you're spending that much money, you should feel appreciated." So now the question is simple: which car from Jay Leno's collection blew your mind the most? Drop it in the comments, hit like and subscribe, because somehow this collection just keeps getting better.